Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity for me, and welcome to Futures. My name is Masayoshi Namba from MUFG company, banking company. Yeah. Within the ION Global Forum, I have been contributing mainly through the RAIM task force and the Financial Data Interconnect team. Today, I'd like to spend about 15 to 20 minutes sharing some insights focusing in particular our activity around financial DCI interconnect. Let me briefly introduce MUFG first. MUFG is a global financial service group operating in more than 50 countries and regions with a strong presence in Asia. Our business span, commercial banking, trusting banking, security service investment banking, credit card, and wealth management. We joined the ION Global Forum in 2021. Since then, we have been particularly in discussion around the value of ION APN, bringing perspectives that may differ from those of the traditional IT sector. I'd like to go beyond the MFG specifically and speak from the more general perspective of financial service providers. Thus, neither MFG nor my own view can be fully represented in a single simple statement. So please understand today's talk as one perspective based on my experience. Let me start with the first slide. Okay. The financial sector provides two fundamental types of service. First, stock type of service, such as deposit, where reliability is essential. Second, flow service, which accompany commercial transactions, money flow tied to economic activity. For stock service, stability is critical. For flow service, we are required to operate 24/7, 365 days, even during disasters or global instability. At the same time, financial institutions must strictly monitor improper transactions, including fraud and money laundering. And for global corporate customers, like many of you here today, we are also expected to provide accurate, timely, and high-value information to support your business. When you put it all together, it is natural to imagine financial IT infrastructure as very robust. More precisely, it must satisfy three requirements at the same time: security, resilience, and accessibility. Since around 2021, the environment has evolved rapidly. As shown on the slide, generative AI is now emerging as a new foundation. AI is being used for monitoring risk detection and personal proposal for financial sector. It is also enabling seamless service across commercial banking, security, and investment banking, for example. As a result, financial institutions are beginning to offer end-to-end integrated financial services rather than siloed products. Naturally, adding AI capability to IT infrastructure has become a major trend. If AI is fully embedded as intended, the relationship between customer data sovereignty and integrated service may look like this. By the way, sovereignty is very difficult to pronounce for me, and in financial service, sovereignty is the simple meaning of issued by official or such as nation or fidelity. So I say there was data ownership in my slide. Traditionally, customer has been siloed by business entity. Customers select products and build our own portfolio from the industry's slide. We try to understand lifestyle and preferences. But today, interactions are heavily digital in digital channel, and it is becoming harder to truly stay close to our customers. Looking forward, I see a future where, starting with AI, we integrated customer data. With clear consent, we can propose products across organizational boundaries as a combination or something packages. I believe this represents in the future. However, this is also a challenge. AI infrastructure is still in heavy investment, and we see a new wave of platform lock-in. ION APN has the potential to connect everything seamlessly. But if AI becomes another silo, crossing boundaries will create overhead and predictability. Sorry. This is an area where MUFG would like to work together with ION Global Forum. From network perspective, we can say two main challenges. Okay. First, connectivity. Legacy systems often support only limited interfaces, making rich and timely data exchange difficult. AI itself is powerful, but still hard to handle. Model change, unpredictable output, network paths, and data ownership all overlap as challenges. Second, the challenge is geographic one. For resilience, we want backup site far away. Sometimes infrastructure should stay in Japan. Sometimes it should be closer to overseas offices. Even today, treating all the resources as one uniform system is still difficult. To address this, we conducted as a proof of concept POC using an AI APN testbed network in Osaka, Japan. POC number 1 has already been completed and recognized by the Global Forum. POC number 2 is currently in progress. Regarding POC number 1, POC number 1 examines storage access from application servers located beyond traditional data center distance. In simple terms, we tested whether an application server located far outside the data center could access storage as if it were inside the same data center. From a technical perspective, we connected the network using a standard called fiber channel and intended it over ION APN with minimum modification. This enables, for example, sensitive banking data, such as customer information or account data, to remain under the strict data ownership while being accessed by application running on a cloud platform. As a result, we can improve both scalability and resource efficiency. At this stage, however, the rack that contains the storage is not location-free. The main data labeled DC11 on the slide still assumes a physically robust facility. Another key component of POC number 1 is our challenge around remote database replication. Traditionally, when a backup site is located 500 to 600 kilometers away in Japan, replication can only be done asynchronously. This means there will always be a difference between the main database and backup database. We can we call this difference gray data. If the main site is damaged by disaster, this gray data must be manually reconciled on the backup system. This manual process becomes a major obstacle to rapid recovery. In this POC, we examined whether synchronous replication could be achieved over long distance, or even if replication remains asynchronous, whether the gray data could be reduced to a very small level. At the current stage, we have verified scenarios where the backup service is placed very close to the primary site. However, a fully distributed topology with no clear main or sub site and more than 3 locations will require a different architecture. I will skip the detail of this style, but let me briefly mention the validation range. We conducted experiments from 250 kilometers up to the 2,500 kilometers using a delay emulator. Now let me highlight 3 key results. First, this slide shows application level latency observed over distance. As shown in the legend, we tested multiple levels of concurrency. When storage is in the adjusting lag synchronization complete in about 5 milliseconds, this becomes a reference point for evaluating delay over the network. Even at 2,500 kilometers, latency remains within about 45 milliseconds. In our assessment, this is a value that is fully practical for real systems. On the right side, you see the result of asynchronous replication because light do not wait for compression. Latency is effectively the same as the sending data to a near lag. In this case, the metric is not latency, but the amount of gray data. Next, this slide shows transaction throughput over distance. As with the previous slide, we tested multiple levels of concurrency. Even as distance increase, throughput stays with a stable range. There is no sharp drop-off where throughput collapses. This indicates that synchronous replication is functional correctly. For asynchronous replication, throughput remains stable regardless of distance. When concurrency increases, the data sending process becomes slightly heavier. And in the sample of 300 concurrence produced the best result. Okay. Finally, this slide evaluates gray data for asynchronous replication. We found that within approximately 2,000 kilometers, gray data is limited to about 2,000 transactions. Since the previous slide shows throughput of 50,000 transactions per second, these 2,000 transactions correspond to about 0.05 seconds of processing. In practical terms, this means buffering for only a very short time allows the database to catch up. To summarize these results, even with asynchronous replication, if data is written to the secondary database within around 0.1 second, then, then in most disaster scenarios, service can continue without noticeable impact to customers. For synchronous replication as well, we obtain value that are clearly within a practical range. As a result, we can expect reduced manual recovery procedures and leaner standby operation and higher overall efficiency. Overall, stable operation is fundamental to trust in banking service. Based on these findings, POC number 2 will explore 2 points. First, distribution across 3 or more locations without a primary, secondary distinction, similar to what virtualization achieves inside a single data center. Second, clear separation between the application layer and the storage layer. For multiple perspectives, I personally find this extremely interesting. For the new SQL database, ION APN may become the best possible partner, I think. We may also see the revival of deterministic high reliability system reminiscent of the mainframe era. And for AI system, ION APN and ION PC, photonic electronic component can act as true boosters. Let me conclude. Supported by our POC results, ION APN enable a more integrated financial infrastructure, one that combines seamless cloud, multiple AI platform, and strict data ownership. Finally, this is not only a technical challenge to build the interoperable system that do not propagate failure or malicious traffic. We need trust and collaboration across industries. This is the point I believe is the true value. This is the true value of ION Global Forum community. Thank you very much.